Hi, welcome back to my channel. So continue with my series on the 2025 Iron Boat Rally. Now let's take some time and talk about the motorcycle and how it performed. So if you want to learn more, stick around. Dang, this looks like a cliff. I mean, this is a cliff. All right, I can do it. Hang on, let me figure out which way we go. I think we stay, I don't know. Yeah, no big deal. All right, so let's get into it. In full rally mode, the bike had a front Michelin Road 6 GT, brand new front tire, and I had a Goodyear Assurance car tire on the back. In that setup, I was real confident I would make the whole rally on tires. The bike was complete serviced, oil change, all that stuff, drive shaft grease, so I felt the bike was prepped and ready to go. As you know, in leg 2, if you've been following my series, you know I got a flat rear tire and the car tire was replaced, and the only tire they had was a Road 5 GT. So as we sit here today, I rode 11,000, we'll just call it 500 miles in the IBR. The front tire did have a saddle sore 1000 on it, so it's sitting at 12,500 miles, and it's got 230 seconds of rubber left on it. The rear is sitting at 3 to 4 30 seconds rubber with 6,800 miles on it. So the rear is going a little bit more, but I do not think there's any way possible rear tire is going to last a full IBR, but the front tire would. So that's one of the issues with running a K-bike. You're going to have to do something about a tire. I do think with the issues that I had with the car tire, I'm hesitant to go back and try it again. If I can't plug it and get myself off the road or anything else, I'm hesitant to try it again. I've never had an issue plugging a motorcycle tire before. I've put a couple plugs in them, and man, if I could have got a plug in it and got 500 or 600 miles just to ride through the night, continuing on my route, and then grabbed a motorcycle shop in the morning, it would have been a very different rally for me, but I couldn't. So I am hesitant to go back to a car tire. The hydration, my fuel setup, all worked very well, no issues with that. The only issue I had with the layout and system of the bike was lockable storage. I run a very small Pelican case, and I called that my office. It housed my computers and things like that. I didn't store much of anything else in there. So as you know, a K-bike or R1250, R1300, whatever, they've got small storage. So I think if the rally would have been set up where I needed to run 11 days worth of clothes, I would have had to put a bag on the back seat, and that's why I developed my fuel system the way I was, because I wanted the back seat left open. The lockable storage was big to me. We walk away from our bikes quite often in different spots, and I walk away not thinking about it. It would be nice to be able to lock it with a push of a button. As far as comfort, the bike performed flawlessly. As my dad would say, the big K-bike was in its element. Tooling up and down the highway, that's what that thing was made for. I averaged in the low 30s, 33 miles per gallon. That's very comparable to what I was going to get out of a GSA. But the comfort for me, at my age and my size and all those things, the comfort in the K-bike was far beyond the comfort on a GSA. Again, that's for me, my opinion. Part of that is because of the 7G Rock windshield. The way it moves the air over me and down my back is phenomenal, and it worked very well for my setup. My Ilium Works highway pegs were perfect, allowed me a second place to put my feet. I never once got cramped. I never once in my entire 11 days of riding felt like I had to get off the bike because I was hurting. So I thought that was a plus. As far as fuel mileage, it's about the same as a GSA. BMWs just aren't that great at highway interstate speeds. I did get it hot one time. The big bikes don't like slow speeds and a dirt gravel road. Out of my rally, 11,400 some miles, I had 10 miles worth of dirt, 5 up, 5 back. I don't think, in my line of thinking, you build a bike for the 10 miles, you build a bike for the 11,390. So this bike performed flawlessly other than that little section of dirt road. And again, it did not hurt me. I just stopped, let it cool off. No issues after that. Servicing the bike, this one's a little more messy, I'll say, servicing it. Servicing a 1250 GSA is really simple. The center stand's higher, you can get under it really easy. So servicing the bike's a little easier. This thing with the inside drain plugs, got 2 drain plugs, you're gonna make a mess. Running that Allen bolt up in there, the Allen wrench, and trying to get that thing out without making a mess, man, it's just tough. So servicing the bike is a little more, not difficult, but it kind of makes a mess, and it's a little bigger pain in the butt. We'll leave it that way. I can't really speak to the people that ride 2-up on these things. I don't know. I don't ride 2-up hardly at all, if ever. So I don't know what it's like for a passenger, but I can tell you, for a rider doing what I just did, this bike performed flawlessly. Navigation-wise, I used a Garmin XT2 combined with the Garmin Tread app, and I used that on my iPad mini. I also used a POI viewer on the iPad. We had so much rain, the iPad spent most of the time in my tank bag, and I got to where I really relied on the Garmin unit, and it performed flawlessly. I never once second guessed it. Everything was spot on, right on the money, no issues with navigation based on routing. So I'm a big fan of the XT2 at this point. Layout, phone chargers, all those things were fine. I will say, if my next Paltong rally, I will have a Android phone. Short conversation with him about my failures in leg 1 leads me to believe that they do have some issues with Apple and some of his programming. Apple doesn't like it. So easy enough just to get an Android phone for something as big as the IBR. I did wear 2 different sets of gear. I wore climb gear and my Aero Stitch. I wore them in the wrong legs. I would tell anyone that climb is far superior in the rain. It's also hotter. The back pad, for one, gets me hot, and it's the first place that I'm gonna start to sweat. The Aero Stitch is a lot more comfortable and a lot cooler, but I didn't get wet, but it gets damp. It does dry out quick, so no issues with that. But if I had my choice and I knew it was gonna rain, I'm gonna wear the climb gear. My comm system, I use Cardo, PackTalk Edge. I have a dual pack of that, and those work flawlessly. Shoei helmet, no issues with that. Hydration was fine. No real failures with the way the bike was laid out, set up, none of that. The only issue I think was tire, and I think if I was running the IBR tomorrow, I would make plans to just swap a tire to Checkpoint 2. I will probably run a motorcycle tire here on out, and just be prepared to swap a tire, whether that's me in the parking lot or a whole nother rim and tire. So if you've got a rim for a K1600, let me know. Other than that, I think that's about the biggest thing as far as equipment. Super happy with the way the K-Bike performed. Again, it's in its element up and down the interstate. Couldn't ask for anything better. So I hope that helps. Hope that answers people's questions. There's a lot of questions on the GSA versus the K-Bike. The GSA is a great platform. I wouldn't hesitate buying it and riding it again. for me, the seating position and all that stuff, even with the Russell seat, my knees just hurt a little bit, and I couldn't get a comfortable position where my knees didn't hurt after 800 or 900 miles. And after about 4 or 5 days, my knees just hurt. On this bike, I never had that issue. But as I said, the platform of GSA is really good, and it's a great starting point. With 7.9 gallons of fuel, it's a great place to start. So I hope that helps. Hope that answers some of the questions. If you have any more questions about the bike, please let me know. I'll answer anything I can. I do plan to do another video on tank bag and some issues I had from Wonderlic. I think it deserves its own video, so I'm going to do that. And I may do one more video kind of comparing the way the 2023 rally was on the old regime and the 2025 rally on the new regime and the way it was laid out. So with that in mind, keep an eye on my channel. I appreciate you watching. Have a great day. Be safe.